In the 20th century, the youngest person to be executed in America was George Stinney Jr. At just 14 years old, he was put to death in the electric chair. From the day of his trial until his execution, the young boy held a Bible in his hands, consistently proclaiming his innocence. Stinney was accused of murdering 2 white girls. One of the victims was Betty, aged 11, and the other was Mary, aged 7. Their bodies were found near their own homes. During the trial, all jurors were white, and the proceedings lasted only 2 hours. Just 10 minutes after the trial, the death sentence was handed down. Stinney's parents were threatened with death and were not allowed to give their son any comfort in the courtroom. They were later forced to leave their town. George Stinney spent 81 days in jail before his death and was never allowed to see his parents during this time. He was held in solitary confinement about 80 kilometers from his hometown. His execution was carried out by applying 5,380 volts of electricity. 70 years after his death, a judge in South Carolina proved that George Stinney was innocent. The 2 girls had been killed by a beam weighing over 19 kilograms, which would have been impossible for the 14-year-old Stinney to lift, let alone use to inflict lethal blows. The entire case against him was fabricated, and Stinney was targeted simply because he was black. This tragic story later inspired Stephen King to write his novel, The Green Mile. It is often said that people in the past were more humane, but that's a blatant lie. People were cruel then just as they are now. The only difference is that the cruelty was hidden before, whereas now it is exposed for all to see.